Okay everyone, and welcome to another randomised gaming stream. I'm of course your host as always for these weekday randomised gaming streams, the editor of Randomised Gaming, Random Gamer Ribbon. And in today's stream I will be looking at Formula Front Armour Core International. And this is the international version, which means this is actually the second re-release of the Japanese version, which contains all the Western upgrades and more, I believe. So it's actually only available in PSP, the best range, so it is one you do have to buy the budget version of, but it is an updated version of the game. So without further ado, that was a nice little opening intro. Let's just jump into Armour Core. Just start a new game here. And I'm playing this now. The first thing you'll notice, you actually get both languages. You get Japanese and English on this one. I should turn up the BMG for this one a little bit. It was quite quiet there earlier. And I think the music's a bit more interesting to listen to. The Armour Core games do have a fantastic soundtrack. So there we go. Let's confirm that. Start. Okay, that's... No, we don't want that. Confirm. Okay, okay, you got to press X to back out and confirm. So I'm actually playing the UMD version of this, so hopefully you've got enough battery in it tonight. I've got about 3 hours left of this. So. Formula Front begins. Play for enthusiastic competitive unmanned and AI-controlled robots, armoured cores as a new entertainment. Robot to keep the ideal balance of speed and power. Furthermore, power produced by a generator is transmitted into every part of the robot. The AI is constructed to choose the most appropriate action for every situation. People are fascinated in the world that require high knowledge and strategy, and they encourage in quiet and hot battles every day. Okay, someone needs to get their English checked because that's terrible. You don't have to be tough. You yourself don't have to be tough. What you need is Formula Front. I should actually read myself. But the new generation of a battle gets underway. The new generation of a battle gets... Oh, FROMSOFTWARE. Where's your English translator? So it goes out saying, as is the Japanese version, you do get all the Japanese characters, but quite a lot of Japanese games do give you the chance to name your characters in English. So without further ado, let's do that. Let's do circle to confirm, and circles confirm on most Japanese games. That's one thing you got to remember. Circle is confirm on Japanese game, and X is back out. For some strange reason in the Western version, they changed it around, but of course circle as in a go sign, cross as in a no-go. So yeah, it's a really strange change Sony America, Europe made. Now one of their very idiotic decisions. Just that brings up. I've got to press back. I've got to accept settings. So as you see there, although this is the Japanese version, I've actually got the text. Most of the text is actually in English when you set it to English. I believe the game's plot is in English. So here we go with the actual news. And yes, I'm playing the Japanese version, and you can see there, it's all in English. And I called myself Raven, not Riven. Well, that's a reference to the previous Armour Core games, as the mercenaries in the Armour Core series are known as Ravens. So good luck, fight well. So, one of the things in the original version of Armour Core Formula Front, the AI, you couldn't actually control the robots, they were AI only. In this later release, you do get a chance to both control them and use AI. So it's a bit of a weird one, the fact this was AI only originally. But there have been quite a few Armour Core games where you actually get to build up your AI sort of assistant robots to help in missions and things. Congratulations on entering the bottom league and obtaining your Class B license. And hello to our regular commentator, Naiko. The only thing that will serve you here is the intelligence. In order to garner the attention and praise of the fans, you will have to be smarter and better prepared than the other architects. We look forward to you creating a new chapter and Formula Front history. So what Formula Front is effectively, it's an arena combat armor core game. So this is the only Armored Core game directly developed for the PlayStation Portable, although it was ported to the PlayStation 2, but weirdly they did the base game of Armored Core Formula Front. They then ported it to the PS2. Then they did this international edition. So the PS2 version, I believe, does not have all the functionality of this version, making it a bit of a not an ideal version. But it is available on PS2. It's actually the only version of the game I don't have. I have the original PSP in PAL, and I have this Japanese Formula Front international version. So battle data submission. The FFA collects data on all Formula F battles. Data received by the FFA is analysed and validated to ensure that no rules are broken. Data submitted automatically at the end of each match. Available once certain levels of submitted data are reached. Okay, so that probably means basically don't cheat or something. The following is an official FFA issue operational guide. Today's topic is Formula Front. We're also available on menu system. So open touch file, so we've got tutorial menus. I believe these menus might be in videos, might be in Japanese. I think they said the only thing in Japanese is the tutorial missions. Yes, correct, Naiko. So there's actually the original Formula Front, which got released in 2004, I think, and then you have the PS2 release, and then you have this version. You also have the Western PSP releases, which I don't believe include all the content of this. They include some of the content of this. So it goes Japanese PSP, Western PSP, and then Japanese international release. I believe the PS2 version has some of the features in this. Has some additional features, but I don't believe it has them all. The original version of the game was originally AI mech only. You didn't get manual control. So yeah, this is... Just let the Japanese play out. I'll just have a quick chat over it and discuss the game a little bit. So the Armored Core series has been going around, has been around for a long time now. There hasn't been the last installment was Armored Core 5 Verdict Day on Xbox 360 and PS3. There hasn't been a new installment since, and we have been waiting for one. There isn't an Armored Core game on PS4 or Xbox One. I think because FROMSOFTWARE have been so busy with the Soul games and its various follow-ons, so Bloodborne, Sonkyo no Dark, Sonkyo Shadows Die Twice, or Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, because they have been so popular. Yeah, the AI matches not ideal, I think, was the... You did actually get to program your AI, so you actually got to program... Basically, the later Armored Core games actually allow you to program your AI units and have them fight for you in battle, on top of, like, fighting alongside you. So basically, you can have yourself, and then you can have additional AI units helping you out, which is great! But it's a bit annoying, the fact that this one originally was AI only, so it would be a pretty bland and dull... It's a dull game. FROMSOFTWARE made a lot of mistakes with their video games, I will admit. They have had an ineptitude at getting their games released as well. So we've got another... This is another tutorial video. This will again be in Japanese. That's the league system. Everything else, as you saw, because I selected English, everything else will be in English pretty much. I think it's only these, like, FMV, because these are pre-rendered movies and the game doesn't have the English version of the movies on the international release. We're just telling you about the regular, I think the various factions and teams fighting it out. So the Armored Core games traditionally have sort of forces battling it out on various factions. This one's kind of a I think in the story, I'm not sure if this is actually in the mainline story. Most of the games in the mainline story actually follow a timeline, but I think this might be one of the few that doesn't actually participate in that timeline. Yes, very much so. They often do that with their model of basically make a game and update it. I mean, almost every Armored Core game has had what I would effectively call enhanced expansion pack sequels. So the original Armored Core had Phantasmaphasia released after it. I slightly got that pronunciation of that one slightly wrong. Phantom Phasia, and then Masters of Arena. Armored Core 2 got the original Armored Core 2, then you had Armored Core 2 Silent Line. Usually you can carry over the save files between the various versions, although I should note that didn't apply in the UK or the European versions because they often had different publishers. FROMSOFTWARE were terrible for basically releasing their games in the West during the PS2 era and even the PS1 era, and they didn't get their games released, so they just failed to build up a fan base for them. So that was messages. So we've got news. Formula Front going. So Formula Front is the worldwide phenomenon in which unmanned AI-controlled ACs are pitted against one another. These routes are so popular they attracted over 1 billion spectators since the idea kicked off. The concept of Formula Front originated less than 25 years ago, but Bloom... Let me try this with a slightly sort of announcer voice. The concept for Formula Front originated less than 25 years ago, but bloomed during that short period of time into the world's most popular form of entertainment. The exciting drive from watching hulking masses of metal shred each other to pieces can't be beat. At the very core of these events are the architects. These are the people who are responsible for assembling and programming the UACs. As long as the architect can continue to come up with new ideas and strategies, passion for the sport will never die. Yeah, you also have to add that Ubisoft Nyko published the games in Europe. They published Armored Core 2 in Europe. Whereas I think we also had Metro published Armored Core 2 Silent Line as well. So we had Metro 3D and Ubisoft, and I think they in turn had licensed some of those games from Crave and Age Tech as well, just to add it into the mix. So you had like 4 different publishers. So it really was a bit problematic. 505 Street Games even published one of them, I think, on the on the 360 and PS3. I think they did Armored Core 4. And as a result, often save files weren't transferable, so you couldn't move over emblem designs. So let's look at my ranking. So I am Raven, and I am, well, So I'm guessing these are the various team names. We've got VR Warriors, VR Experts, Tues Sutan, Bombardment with Satyr, Eternity Bastion, PP0, Pop Shooter, obviously that's the name. So it's called Eternity, so that's Bombardment. They call themselves Eternity, but there they got E, so there it's Eternity, but there it's E Frigga Get a Rocker Net. E Frigga Get Rock. E Frigga Get Rock Net. What on earth are the name? Too near Kasagri. That is a brand name I recognise VR. So I am FFA, which is the newest team. I have to view the rankings. That's still showing. They go into our details. Okay, so that's the team profile. Literally, I'm the only member. And there's my very basic mech. You see the overall C, so I'm guessing the other guys are going to have much better mechs. Let's look at them. I was debating if to do Armored Core 3 Portable today, and then I thought, no, I'll do Formula Front as it's a Japanese only one. well, this is the Japanese only version of it. I thought, well, besides it was the only one released specifically for PSP. The others are all PS2 ports, although they do have slightly additional content, the pocket versions, I believe. But they do have the loss of the fact that you lose dual analog on some of them. She was telling me it's new, but so we're obviously rising, PPO going down. Look at the team. Well, you can actually update your profile entry. So, let's say, let's call them. I'm going to be a bit cheeky here, but hello. I meant to say hello to a slightly weird way of actually controlling it, so... Sample emblems. Ah, we can actually change our emblems. Oh, secret! Clover, Clement. Yeah, I'll stick with the current emblem. I've just got... Can you actually edit your emblem? Ah, you have got all the usual editing tools, so great. So, if you've ever seen some of the fantastic home-done emblems, some people have done some brilliant emblems in this game. I am not. You've actually got full-on pixel. Have I got white or something equipped? Yeah, I've got white. Undo action. Set changes. No, I'm not a great artist. I could do an all-important saute order. Present order. So obviously these are the ACs we've got in the team. Here we go in the garage. Apologies, there will be a setup before we actually get into battle, and then I'm going to have to actually win. Got C, D, C. Okay, so those two are rubbish. Mobility. That's just got A mobility. Oh, that's got S mobility, but probably low damage. Yeah, so that's really fast, but no defense attack power. That's a terrible mech. That's got horrible cooling as well. Would it be possible to upload a JPEG image? I'll check. I don't think so. Usually, some of them, I don't think they usually let you upload images. You could, once you've built an image in game, you could transfer it between the various versions normally. So let's click on the AMEX. So here we go, the actual assembly. Okay, the load time for that is actually pretty slow, I will admit. So we have a huge breadth of parts as with all the Armour Core games. I'm not actually going to alter the config at the minute. I'm just going to leave it as it is. See how far I usually see how far the base mech gets me before I start fiddling around with it. So we've got AI tune as well. You can tune the AI if you want to adjust it. So if you were doing the base version of the game, you would only be able to actually So you've got long range, variety, dash, jump. Yeah, the base game, and I don't believe the base game in Japan has the English option either. So there is still some Japanese. I think that's actually the name of the mech. Yeah, for some reason the name of the mech. Rename this mech to. It's basically called our Team 1. Let's. Yeah, you could. Mojib Ribbon, I think, allowed you to upload stuff, so. Let's do RGD 0. And I can't remember circle. I'll just call. Backed out again. I'm just going to change the name entry this one because it's annoying me. This is a Japanese name. So yes, mustn't press. I want to press. So just. Slightly weird controls actually. So I. Okay, there we go. Triangle, circle. Let's just call it RDG. So there we go, RGG. So here we go with the AC test. So once you've built your AC, you can of course test them, which is hugely helpful. Seeing as, of course, you do want to go, so I can actually pick team loadout. Can I change which? Change the AC. I don't want to change. So there we go, AI control, manual control you have in this one. I said the original Japanese version you didn't have. I do know some games definitely had the sort of import functions. For Mojib Ribbon let you import text files into the game, I believe, for the writing on that one, which was quite a cool one. I don't believe the Armored Core games had importing. I think you had to be really good at drawing, but I'll just double check if there was a sort of some form of import thing. Of course, you can actually upload images to the USBs, PSP. Just see if you can access it. So here we go, me getting familiar with the controls. So, oh, I've got, so that's D-pad up. No, that's left, that's sub. So analog stick is move, L trigger is strafe left, right trigger is strafe right, which is probably quite needed seeing as you don't have dual analog on this. Watch my heat. You have got to watch your energy speed so you don't nearing the 60-second mark. Yeah. So I don't seem to actually have targeting control in this one. So So I can't move the target up or down. I wonder if that's intentional to avoid just having to use that functionality because you are limited with the number of buttons you've got on the PSP. And there's the close combat blade of circles, so this is a very, very basic mech. Turning circles, not the greatest either, and there we go, a couple of close combat hits. Now against, if I was piloting a... Wow, that mech is not the greatest. I guess we'll just have to do watch replay. No, but that does show. Retry. Yes, get another retry just to get my practice in. So this is obviously the other one's obviously a heavy tank mech. Probably actually a slightly better mech actually. One of the things I will say, Armored Core FROMSOFTWARE are not known for balancing their loadouts particularly well. Armored Core does have usually the issue that each game usually has vastly better loadouts than with certain weapons than others. So I can tell you now, this mech is not going to be high damage, that's for sure. It's your standard sort of typical starting mech, basic blade, basic cannon. It ain't going to be destroying anything very quickly, and you actually have to be a half decent pilot to win any battles. Then that last match, I think I let it just do too much damage to me. Now, you will find in Armored Core that some of the later fights are very difficult, so there we go. Let's get those close combat blades in. Of course, you do want to back away a lot of times as well. You have to boost is also jump, so you have to hold it down to actually jump, but I've got to keep an eye on my boost energy. I don't want my boosters to overheat, otherwise I end up being a sitting duck. Those rockets are really slow. The double actually assistant lasers are quite helpful. Can't see the cooldown today. He's on 18 and I'm on... There he goes. Okay, so that I absolutely outclassed him, but you have got to be careful getting to know the... RG, and there's the other Formula front 5. So the other mech was definitely a lot more, I think, did a lot more damage actually. Let's just watch the replay, see what the replay looks like. So does this give me camera control, or is it going to be this straight? There we go, have got camera control. You can't focus on the enemy one, so he had slightly more heavy duty weapons. He didn't have maneuverability. Tank treads don't tend to have the maneuverability, tend to be much more durable. Armour Core 5 tank treads are pretty much essential for, well, certainly Verdict Day, tank treads are pretty much essential for just destroying pretty much everything. Frame rate, perhaps not so good in this. At least gives you an overall relapse, so there's a quick, yes, that's enough of that. You will of course have to upgrade your mech, and often you will need to specifically engineer a mech for specific fights. Now, one of my biggest gripes with the Armour Core franchise is FromSoft are really bad at documenting things like weapon types and different damage types. So often you can end up having to struggle around to experiment with stuff to find out. They often don't tell you certain stats. So I'll just see, does this have an import function you were asking? Let's just look at sample. Let's go to the edit emblem system again, so what we've got. Set grid lines, let's see, set cut, mirror, set carry. Doesn't look like it, I'm afraid, Nico, unless it's something that can be unlocked. Unless there's a load in option. You can usually load in a raise line tool. So this should be the base option. So we've got save. Emblem save, emblem load, so you can save emblems and load emblems. Refers to formula front lecture topics. Let's just see. Actually, these are probably going to be all the Japanese only videos. This is probably the one bit that you lose out on with the international release, but all of these videos are in English in the PAL version of the game. So basically just the tutorial key assignment. So basically you can save your emblems and try and teleport once you've done them. So emblem save, I can actually save. I'll just go back, emblem load. So let's get into a league match, shall we? I'm sure that's what some of you are here to. So here we go, the opponent. We've got Pop Shooter, PPO, Frontier Rustfield. So we've got rank, view information on the opposing team. So back left, arm right, arm left. So he doesn't have a hanger right, doesn't have a hanger left, doesn't have extension, doesn't have inside. He's going to be a fairly. These first couple of fights are usually his rank 5, but usually these first few fights are really easy. So we've got manual AI. I'm not going to even attempt to let the AI run it, and so that's probably. That was actually quite a tough mech. So probably that one. I mean, that's got very high ability but low attack. Well, this one's got quite good attacking power as well. Yeah, what a lot of the basically you could say the emblems. You may be able to import emblems from the PS2 version of the game. So, but it doesn't look like you can import JPEG images. I know because the PSP has got the video file saved, doesn't it, in the movie playback feature. Okay, and here we go on the same stage. So this is the Rust Fields. So these first few battles are probably going to be very, very easy. So he's got double guns. At least I hope they are. Some occasionally they can. From past experience, usually the first few are pretty easy, and then they sort of toughen up after that. Okay, his mech is really lowly armoured because my gun is tearing his health to shreds pretty quickly. So armour core you do want to keep on the move. What you don't want to do, as I've just done, is which I've actually run out of energy, so that way I literally got the same gun firing at one another, so I actually want to try and keep my energy so it doesn't go into the red area, because then you have to cool down. So he's just got to keep in close, make sure his shots hit. Okay, yeah, let's get in those close combat blows. Put me decidedly ahead. So those rockets I don't think are particularly very good, they're quite slow. Now this is a pretty terrible mech, but my mech is not that great either. But there we go, that's a win. So yeah, performance of neither mech I'd say was great. I don't really see the replay on that one. We got some new news and stuff, so let's just gander at the DAC news. So new message. Oh, we got Formula Front Assembly. Okay, I'll just watch this video, even though it's in Japanese. We do get Japanese viewers on the channel, so we'll just quickly watch it. So yes, you see the AC performance. So yeah, it does give you a rank. Now, of course, the performance rank doesn't always necessarily equate to Formula front guide. It's about team strategy, so there's nothing new there. Oh, you're playing Nocturne at the minute. I think I played that. It wasn't bad. I can't remember if it was one. If it's the one I think it was all right, not great, but it wasn't bad. So low ranker advances. Okay, it'll also be remotely operated by a human pilot, so that's... Shin Megane's Tenzin Nocturne. Yes, I do have that. That's the one with Dant in it, isn't it? No, I was thinking of another tactical RPG. Shin Megami Tenzin. Yeah, Lucifer's Call. Yeah, I've played it. I've never actually finished that one. It's one of the many ones I picked up back when I first had a PS2. So I picked up a lot of them and just never got round to playing them. There's actually, just in case you're a PS2 fan, you actually want to get Armored Core game, there's Armored Core 2, Armored Core 2 Silent, Armored Core 2 Another Age, Armored Core 3, Armored Core 3 Silent Line, so that's 4. There's Armored Core Nexus, that's 5. There's Armored Core, there's the Formula Front, which is 6 on it, although it's just this one. So Battle 3? Battle 3. Yeah, I think that's the one. There's I think it's a tactical RPG called something like Nocturne, or maybe I was getting a bit muddled or something else. There's something I played as some sort of knight in name, but there's Armored Core 9 Breakers as well, which is another arena shooter, and then there's also Armored Core. So what's a free match? Do I get to replay? I get to replay the match stage select. I'm going to be brave and try the other mech, actually, see what this one's like. Yeah, I've heard the Shin Megami Tensei 3 is a really brutal final boss as well. Well, there's a hidden boss that's like one of the previous final bosses, but incredibly hard. You can literally like one-hit KO your whole party or something. This is an exhibition match. Yes, you've 9 Breaker and Last Raven, so there's... I have 7 of them on PS2 because I don't have the PS2 release of Formula Fronts. But yeah, manual control is definitely the big addition for this version. Just actually checked with my... I think they said there's some bonus fights as well I saw. I just checked with my... Oh wow, yeah, this thing's slow, but he hits like a moose. 50 rounds of... I see, so this one has the... If you can hit with the moose. The moose cannon. Oh man, this weapon's terrible for targeting. Oh. Yes, they will discover that with a lot of weapons are very different to one another. And this mech is way too slow to really maneuver. So I wonder why I take it out. It's just maneuvering just far too slow. I like the cannon, I don't like the speed it maneuvers at. So the weight of your weapons and stuff decides on the maneuverability, as does your ground payload. So you sometimes take heavier treads to do lower damage. It really does depend on the game, what weapons you take. Armor Core 5 Verdict Day really did like it, so he's got stuck there, so that's what I will just let me destroy his health bar. It shows you how differently you have to play depending on the mech and the design. But each Armor Core game generally has different builds, so some you'll find is better to build fast mechs, some you'll find it's better to build heavy mechs. You really have to play around with every game. They never quite... You do get... There are a few tournament banned weapons as well and things like that. Ooh, just got it. Red most likely, yeah. Ian Heat AP. This is actually moved by the other team. Just going to save it because usually the Armor Core games are very good for literally railroading you into one direction, and losing fights can actually be very detrimental for progress in a few of the Armor Core games. So on Hillside, Steel Valley, Glacier Frontier and Zeal. Let's do another league match. Because this one's rank 4, Eternal Bastion. Ah, these are mechs all in the lower league. Can I get through the lower league with just the sort of base mech? So, got high mobility, weak attack power, versus ECMs, overall to C, back left, extension inside. So, yeah, I do think the... I do wonder exactly what some of the difference between this and the PAL version are, because the PAL version I'm pretty sure did have manual control. Yeah, I think you're right, Nico, because sometimes the targeted highlights, everything highlights, so I think they got the most chance to hit when it's that. But you've got some quite, against maneuverable mechs, slow firing, poor targeting weapons just aren't very good because you can outrun everything. And running out of ammo in this can be for certain mechs if you're not far, can't. You should always have a close combat weapon. Half your cash. Yeah, that's the main problem with the Armor Core. It does literally say bye-bye to half your cash if you mess up. Oh, wow. Ooh. And not just bye-bye to half your cash. In a couple of the Armor Core games, you actually get In Armored Core 2, you can actually get into debt quite badly and end up actually getting a game over screen if you did that. Okay, this guy is a vastly better mech already. I think I'm going to need to completely rebuild this one. This is just not. Its weapons just are not up to the caliber I need. Come on, move, move, move. Oh, I moved out of the area. So you can retry. I'll give it a retry. I think this guy's going to be weak to my blades. Appreciate the like. I shouldn't have you, Naiko, who's done the like. But thanks to everyone watching so far. The armor core's definitely an acquired taste. I think it... Saving crazy, yeah. A few of them do punish you, the armor core games do punish you badly financially. You won't get to do missions and things like that if you screw up, which is not... Oh, come on, he's got some sort of... Grid 1 takes heavy damage, yeah, he's got a very powerful weapon. Come on, hit with the blade. Hit with the blade. I think I might be retrying this fight again. Ooh, so yeah, not having dual analog, I definitely feel there is some tightness in the controls of this one. Come on, turn! This thing is all the turning circle of what I describe as a slug. I want to try and get him with my blade. No, this is a lost battle this round. That's what I've got to avoid, getting hit by that thing. I've basically got a boost. Okay, so yes, this is definitely one replay. No, retry, yes. So they're throwing a tough mech already quite early on. I'm wondering if I should take the slightly more durable one, although that's going to get hit all the time. Yeah, there's quite a few games that I think are FromSoft are quite bad for doing that, where basically you get absolutely screwed in the armor core games if you didn't save. So it's really irritating when that happens. Oh, come on, move! Oh, I've got to keep moving against this guy. I was annoyed before because the blade hit blade. Because this thing's incredibly weak. Yeah, so I can get him in the corner. Just missed out on the blade there. Move, keep moving. Don't run out of energy, you know. And if I run out of energy, I can't use my blade either. So there are different weapon types in some of the later Armored Core games. You should just see if the rockets can do a lot more damage. 23 rounds left, so hopefully that's enough. Gotcha. I mean, there is a lot of depth with the equipment, much like the Demon and Dark Souls games, as they're the more familiar ones. I mean, Demon and Dark Souls themselves are extension of Kingsfield. They are literally just the follow-ons of the Kingsfield series. Watch replay? No. So I assume I'm getting some loot. I will save again. Usually in the Armored Core games and the story-wise you unlock story. So this one is slightly different to a lot of the other games. It doesn't have an actual rolling story and there's not like hidden missions. So that was 1025. It's 1009. No, the AI does not have to deal with the same control system. And I will be honest, the Armored Core games are known for having issues with the controls. Certainly in the early installments before dual analog came along, they're quite slow and sluggish. That was something I felt FROMSOFTWARE were a bit slow to address. So we've got more news. That was another guy. I'll just watch this. But FROMSOFTWARE did not use dual analogs for quite a while during, I think it's Armored Core Nexus is the first one that actually used the dual analogs on PS2, and I think that's like 4 games into the series. No, I think it was the 5th game. I think it was the 5th game they didn't use dual analogs to like the 5th game. And there's some embarrassing things about that with Armored Core, where the guys from FROMSOFTWARE don't always think. There are some embarrassing errors in Dark Souls and Demon Souls, but the games are just so good. And the Armored Core games are the same quality, but I think they've just never quite had the popularity. The poor releases, as with Kingsfield, really it was Demon Souls basically really finally gave FROMSOFTWARE the because sadly the Armored Core games have always been basically blighted by bad publishers, and even Armored Core 5, which was published by Namco clearly were only contractually obliged to publish it. So this is obviously about AI tuning this one, so you can adjust the AI to whether you want it to be more aggressive, defensive, whether to go for long range. Whether you want to attack close or attack. Yeah, it's fairly simplistic stuff with the AI. The AI controls in the later. Yeah, they basically released. Yeah, I see what you mean by the PS1 style dog-bone controllers. Yeah, with the original look of the PS1 pads. Yeah, they basically released. Which is a flaw, and FROMSOFTWARE do make mistakes, and they also make a lot of mistakes of often not providing all the information the player needs to know about the weapon. Same with Dark Souls, a lot of the weapons don't list all the stats. They often have hidden stats and mechanics, which is great if you've got the time to sort of spend and explore, but often you don't want to spend hours fiddling around with a control scheme and learning the different perks of a weapon to see, oh, this one's got a subtle battle boost here, or this one, because I think it was in a lot of Armored Core games they don't tell you weapon velocity speed, which is one of the key factors, because you want to know how quickly the bullet reaches its target, because the faster the more likely you are to hit, and also the more damage you're likely going to do over time. If it's a rapid fire gun and it hits the velocities really fast, whereas slow fire gun, slow acting bullets. I'll just let this play out because I know we do have some Japanese viewers and they may want to read the Japanese text. Actually, while this is playing, I'm just going to grab myself a drink, actually. Rengoku, was that a From Software game? Because this is definitely one I should actually look at. There are a few From Software games I haven't, quite a few actually I haven't played, and I do like their work, so let me just go and save it again. As you can tell, there is a lot of downtime between fights. I know I could do things very quickly, but I do like to experience the lore. From Software are very good at building up the lore in the world and sort of showing you and doing a lot of implied stuff. Unfortunately, only really the Dark Souls games have wellly translated. A lot of the Armored Core games, the lore is terrible in it because it's been poorly translated. Also by the makers of Shining Force Neo and published by Konami. It's a PSP game though. I don't actually have that one. I'll definitely look into that. There's a few titles I definitely still need to pick up on the PSP. Supported by Kusanagi. Yes, now this is one of the main weapons manufacturers. Kusanagi. So let's give it a whirl. Let's find out if I'm going to use this. I'm going to try this mech out for a change. It's supposedly got better weapons. Let's see what it's like. I feel the UMD whirling away in the old PSP. Yeah, actually, in case anyone's wondering, I am playing this from a PSP, and I've got the UMD in the drive, which does mean I probably need to keep an eye on the battery. The music is fantastic in all the Armored Core games. That's one thing I will say. The music is. Okay, this is quite manoeuvrable. Oh, it's got chain guns. Ah, yes. Got some spider walk as well. I do like the animation on these later ones. Oh, wow. This has definitely got some punch to it. Okay, this one is tearing that guy apart. Okay, right, how many have we got? It's got base chain gun as well. Oh wow, this thing is out. This is what I mean about the quality of the weapons and the mechs. So this default mech is vastly. The power of this thing is shredding this one to pieces. And I've got 200 rounds of this, and it's doing a load of. I think one of my biggest gripes is the targeting in this one. The targeting in the later games is definitely a lot more durable. Okay, so that was a much. I heard the disc spinning. Okay. I might have had it a little bit too close to the mic, but it's nice to know you get the authentic. You can probably hear me tapping away as well. That's not really. That's rather difficult to actually get rid of unless you literally have a soundproof chamber where you play the games. Yeah, so that makes actually. Yeah, that one was far better at the pre-built mechs. Let's just view the replay of that one. View the replay, yes. whenever it takes. So basically this weapon was constantly doing heavy damage to him. So unlike the other Armour Core ones, I said this one's an arena battle only one. So if you're not into arena battle games, you may prefer the other Armour Core games, which are proper campaign missions, and see you up fighting a whole horde of enemies. Usually fighting, you have an objective on each mission, you've got to fight a horde of enemies, and on quite a few missions you'll destroy all the enemies and down will come a rival bot. Rengokai, okay, I'll definitely keep an eye out now. That's similar to, because if that's by the LODOS developer, so I take it to basically just a follow on the LODOS War format. I take it, or record the. Okay, I'll stick with that one for a while. That one's a much better mech. See how long I can last with it. Another Formula Front guide. Again, I'll just watch this just because some of the Japanese guys may want to see what this is. So the last one was it's one of those games where literally you get the opening intro and it's just like the ending, pretty much all the story. Okay, I'll definitely keep an eye on that. I've seen that one out a few times. I've just not picked it up, so. And there's still quite a lot of really good PSP games I'd like to purchase. The PSP is not my strong point when it comes to. I mean, I picked up one in 2010. I bought a fair amount of them. I picked up most of the games that were sort of the end life PSP games. Visually, I think for me, the later Armour Cores, Armour Core 4 and 5 are much more impressive. And also design-wise, the mission scope in 4 and 5 is really good. You get some massive, huge mech battles in the later Armour Core games, which I really like. I wasn't so much a fan of these earlier ones because obviously they were dealing with limitations, and some of the battles are a little bit quaint for when they're supposed to be like, oh, there's a massive. So that there's when they say like a massive enemy force and there's like 6 or 7 enemies. It always feels a bit like the earlier ones were struggling with the design limitations, and went with Armour Core 4 and Armour Core 5. FROMSOFTWARE were really able to go to town a lot. Sequel's much cheaper, harder to find though. Okay. Yeah, there are a few games like that where you get ones quite easy to find and the later ones are always much harder. Usually that indicates the first one didn't sell well, or everyone second-handed it very quickly. Because developers do track second-hand retention rates. Because as I said, if you get a game that's second-handed a lot, it will often mean people are not hanging on to it, and then you ask the question, why are they not? Like, so this one does appear to allow you just to see Formula Front. I think it's saying you can transfer saves between the original Formula Fronts, or save emblems between Formula Fronts International and Formula Fronts PlayStation 2, the PS2 version. So the two I think you can move, say, emblem data around between them, looking at the emblem data. The whole dang the whole dang game. Yeah, there's a few games that literally make you play through it more than... Usually that was used in the old arcades, that's called the second round, where you literally make people play through the whole game again just to get the ending. And there are a couple of games that do it really aggravating ways where you end up replaying a whole, like, massive sections of the game just to see something, and there's only, like, minor changes. See, they're showing the energy. So basically the energy system, in case you're wondering, if it goes into, as long as you keep your energy in green, it will recharge it will recharge quickly. If it goes into red, you will overheat and then you'll have to cool down, and then your bar will be red and slowly charging, and then you won't be able to use it till it's fully charged up. So this is actually going through all the AI tuning options in the tutorial. This is probably the only bit I should have had the English version. Now I'd be interested to know what if it's just manual controls. This might actually be the same as the PAL version, interestingly, because I'm pretty sure the PAL version is manual controls as well. Oh, I need to check that. I do need to dig up my PAL copy and have a play with it. But I think I heard there were a few additional fights and parts in this version. There are in the apparently a few extra bits in the PSP versions of Armored Core 3, Armored Core 3 Silent Line, and Armored Core 3 Pocket, Armored Core 3 Silent, I think it's just called Armored Core Silent Line Pocket, and Armored Core Last Raven Pocket. They were all the PS2 games given PSP ports. Unfortunately, the control system... Oh yeah, that's actually very much like Dragon Crown. Dragon Crown forces you to play through the whole game 3 times in effect. Each time the only difference is you restore a different goddess statue and you get a different final boss. It's like a tougher dragon, and you have to do that 3 times. You have to beat it once, you then have to beat it a second time, and then you have to beat it for a 3rd time. And I think there's some hidden final dungeon as well at the end. I was lucky enough that we were able to Dragon's Crown did allow you to move your save file from PS3 to PS4, which we were able to do. That was actually a feature. I don't know if it's still available, though for a while you could do it via the game's server transfer. But that literally has you play through the game 3 times, just the enemies get higher leveled. There's certainly tutorials, I said, are very long, giving you the basics of actually explaining how everything works. Got no new messages. I do love the Armored Core music. It's always fantastic. Blitzkrieg victorious, so won the match. What is the rankings view? But okay, so we are up to, I think this is like the first tier. We're up to 3rd. Can I get to? Let's see if we can at least beat the other 2. Obviously, there's each of the different leagues, so obviously we're in the like starting league. I'm gonna stick. No, I'm gonna stick with the robot that I was using last time, because that was much more manoeuvrable, had the damage. I keep getting my X in my circle. I'm so used to playing NTS. I had this weird thing where if I play loads of Japanese games for a while, I'll get X circle and X confused, and if I play Western games for a while, I'll then get this flip confused when playing the Japanese games. So one of the most annoying things about is the fact that they changed it. It's really, as a couple said, circle should be confirmed and X should be cancelled, but for some reason the Western stuff, they changed it to the other way around. It's just infuriating, Sony. Don't do it. Circle should be confirmed. It makes sense. Circle is good. And I could do an AI battle, but I remember one time doing the AI battle and finding the AI was deeply unsatisfactory. And quite frankly, watching two AI robots battle it out is like watching paint dry. It's like, so although I'm streaming, I'm the player. I'm not a big fan of watching streams myself because I find watching other players playing games, because I want to experience the game, a little bit boring myself. But I do like to, it's nice to be able to sort of chat to people and stuff. So. And sometimes it's nice to watch people playing to see how they play a game, right? But I'm generally not a big fan of actually watching people stream myself, but occasionally watch it, stuff, but I generally... Okay, he's trying to hit me with a shotgun, but it's interesting, so I know... Now, he's at a really bad disadvantage. He's at radius, where my guns are more powerful. His shotgun is going to be dispersed, so... We've got to watch that. But yeah, that is a true thing. Nico, AI is going to be very limited, whereas watching people you can actually comment on their feedback, and it's nice to be able to actually chat with you guys as well. And even if you're watching a stream, you can always chat with the thing, as we do on these streams. If we had loads of people, it might be a bit difficult to chat to people. I think his guns have actually done something to my state, so I obviously can't. He's got some sort of targeting thing on me, which is a big pain because that means I can't use my weapons. Come on, shoot! Yeah, he put some sort of targeting thing on mine, so if I hit, he's obviously... Okay, I need to be careful, I've got 56 rounds. Come on. Oh, no. Oh, yes, just. That was a close victory there against that one. More news. We got another movie to watch. I'm just watching this because I said before we've got Japanese viewers, so... We get a rough idea from the animated intro what's going on. Explaining operations. AI operation tuning. I have done AI tuning. The AI tuning in Armored Core Verdict Day was much more advanced, and I was able to actually tune an AI to at least withstand the boss ILV for some time before it got blown up. In fact, we had one case where my mech infamously, the three of us were where one of the guys got bumped off. My mech then was able to actually dodge some of LIV's attacks and actually last for quite a while. LIV was like the ultimate super boss on Armored Core Verdict Day, and if you can, I assume the servers for Verdict Day are still up. I'm not entirely sure. They took down Armored Core's 5 servers really quickly. Naughty FROMSOFTWARE. They took it down in less than a year, I think. So that game was basically unobtained. It was only literally could obtain all the achievements for a few months, which is really bad. Speaking of robots, Rengoku, let's put machine guns on your chest, both arms and face. You can also put chainsaws on your face and arms. Interesting selection of weapons in Rengoku then. And this is supposed to be a fantasy game. Machine guns on your arms. So alt move, AR, boost, jump. Little known fact too. Formula Front making it to the top. Somebody goes, do this in an announcement. In Formula Front, making it to the top requires a combination of well thought out assembly, the AI design decisions, but there is also the option to utilize remote manual control in lieu of AI. The reason why this is allowed by regulations are discussed in this article. Meh. Yeah, the news stories could be a bit more interesting, I think. It's a post-apocalyptic robo-tournament tower. Yeah, this one's pretty much a post-apocalyptic robo-tournament tower as well. Well, I think in this one, Armacon might, for Formula Front, I think might be like a just professional gaming tournament thingy or league where they battle mechs. There's not a huge amount of story in this one. Okay, let's try and get this. So I should be, if I'm right, I should be number... So I can 3 battle therefore. So I'm literally 1 away from winning the league. So let's go win the league. VRX, let's look at his robot. This looks quite menacing. So attack power D, defense power D. Yes, I know the one you mean, made by Genki on... oh, there's the one extra robot game made by Genki. Yes, there's actually another one made by Konami as well on the original Xbox. And that was also released on... and I can't think of their names. You also, of course, have Metal Wolf Chaos, which we covered originally on the original Xbox, but that is now available on the Xbox 360, Xbox One and PS4. Metal Wolf Chaos. Then the guy who designed some of the stuff on Armored Core did one recently called Decay. Oh, it's the Deus Ex. It's like Demon X Machinist, and that was released on Nintendo Switch. I think that's available on PC as well. I don't think it's on PS4, strangely. There are a lot of companies were releasing games on Switch, because I think for a while it was like the place to go. Phantom Crash, that's the one. There's another one. Actually, no, maybe I think that one. I think it was on PS2. It's Heavy Chaos or Heavy Metals Robot by Konami, I think. You also have there's a shooter come mech game called Miyumash. Yeah, now this cannon weapon absolutely destroys his hell. I've actually been quite lazy with this weapon. I should actively... So he's just basically getting stuck. Like, I really should. So this fight I don't need to do much. Okay, now he's getting his big guns out. Okay. So he's needed 500. SLAP, yeah, that's it. SLAPI, yeah. It's like Steel something. There's also one called Mumas as well. It's sort of a mecha shooter on Xbox, but that was not released. Again, that was another game that was only released in North America, and there was a shooter on Xbox, Mumas. It's like Mumas. And here we go. Congratulations, recently on the bottom league's top rank. Leagues had the following operational chips as rewards. So stylish anime interest. Yeah, Phantom Crash is absolutely crazy, isn't it? Forming for an R League team. So we've actually reached the R League. So we've actually got out of the first league. So I'll go to ranking. And here we go. Here we are with the actual... Here we've got the first proper league, I suppose. Yes, I have played Phantom Crash. I've played it. We do actually... I know we've actually got it somewhere in the Random Gaming Archive, so I have played it. It was quite a crazy game. I think it works on 360 as well, although I don't know how well it works on 360. It might be one of those games that didn't quite work properly. It's definitely one I should... It's one of those ones that I'd like to cover on the channel at some point, but there's like a whole slew of other games I'd like to cover as well, so... Going to save it now. I got to the out of the first league, so I've got to see how far I can get with that other, with the base robot. Although I probably won't run on all night tonight. I will probably finish in, probably do a few battles, and then I'll wrap it up. So the DAC news. Itself, I look forward to our meeting. From Linus, pleased to meet you. So I won't watch any more of the tutorial messages because I can watch them later. Because I kind of want to get a move on now. So yeah, we've got welcome to our league. So we've got to the next league. Yeah, no, I don't want to go. I've got a few side things to do tonight, so I don't really want to work for too much later. I don't want to go on for too much later. I'll probably wrap it up in about 15 minutes, if that. No, just the winner this time as well. So, team... Record of 24 victories in a row. Artist Chief Architect Brennan was in intent to the... Proving itself again and again. So we're obviously now beginning to see about a competition. So the first couple of opponents are basically clearly just a sort of tutorial enemy. There's my ranking. Oh, we're so far down now. Can I actually go back and fight the other league? No, it appears once you're in the league, you can't refight them. So let's see how my base mech does against him. So he's ranked 30. Now, we know he's probably going to be in a better mech overall. So he's got decent weapons, decent... His defense is his weakest. And you notice he's only D on it. His weakest is D. So Yeah, obviously Armour Core's not hugely popular, as we haven't had a huge number of people on tonight's stream, but that's cool. I really like Armour Core, and I think more people need to get involved. More people need to be made aware of it, so... I was actually just figuring out a way to do recording, and I realised I can use this setup to actually record 1080p streams, although I might cut it down to 720p for PSP footage for... okay, so here we go. This guy's obviously got a lot more weaponry for actually, so that way I don't need to crop it. I can record the footage at much better. I need to be a bit more manoeuvrable than this. Oh, no. Nope, this is terrible. That was terrible. I had the advantage and I flushed it all away. Already the opposition here now is much more tougher than what they were earlier. So Team B within Force Wing. This was the guy who was chatting to us. Well, he's bringing the pain to me. I can do a lot of damage to him, but he's definitely he's got a powerful mech. So retry, yes. So I feel like I can beat him because I don't need to actually hit him that many times. But it's a case of just making sure I try and get the most damage and get those lock-ons. I probably should also try less flying and more just boosting, because the downside of flying is when you come down you have a massive pause, and that's when you're really vulnerable. So if this guy's got, wow, he's got a lot of really great takes heavy damage. Come on. Ooh. Yeah, this guy's really manoeuvrable. This mech is not manoeuvrable. So I feel I'm going to need to probably rebuild this mech. Let's just try what's the other weapon like. Now one tactic is to actually let your enemies... Come on, move. Oh, it's run out of speed. Okay, I'll give it one last shot. I feel I need to might need to adjust my mech and completely rebuild them already, which is probably part of the course for this type of game. You need to build it up. Yeah, he's got much better targeting than me. I can probably get him. It's just making sure I get the jumps. He's got me. So of all the mechs, this is definitely the one that will be able to get him. But yeah, a lot of those default mechs are going to quickly run out of stream. So you see, you basically get through the openings fights, but I guarantee I was playing as the faster mech. That's going to get... This thing's doing a lot of damage. So I need high power weapons. So I probably want to build a new... He's got some powerful lasers on him. I feel I should steal his weapons actually. These two guns are quite good though. They're just. He's got some fast-firing, rapid guns that are just absolutely tearing me to pieces. So one last shot, and then I'll actually pack up for the night early. So. I'm gonna try and. Because rebuilding a mech takes an awful lot of time, and I don't think people want to see too much of me doing mech building. Rounds of his dual guns. This is close. He's getting the advantage. Come on. Got him. Right, I literally can't move at the minute, so I want to stay downhill so I can wait till my pack was. I was hoping he might have run out of ammo of one of those guns, but no. Okay, one very last shot and then I'm going to finish. That'll make it about an hour and 45 minutes to stream. So, yeah, I mean, visually this is actually pretty decent for a PSP game, but not the best. I think the arenas, as you see there, I think there's... The armor core designs are very rigid at this point in the background, so there's not... I wouldn't say the sort of standout PSP. Certainly the fact we've only got two things battling out in one area, so... Oh, yeah. I mean, I probably could get him if I get the right shots on him. But this one's definitely his mech. It's clearly, this is the point where it says, okay, now you've done those initial things. Now you've got to build your own mech. close combat work? Can I get... No, this cannon gun overheats far too quickly. If you take damage, it overheats, so... And once it overheats, you can't fire it till it's... So yeah, it's not great. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I think I'm going to build a better mech that rivals his, or maybe even steal his mech design and use... That's a classic one. Take their mech and use it against them. But that's it from me. This has been Armour Core Random Gamer Ribbon, and this has been Armour Core Formula Front International. So this has been the Japanese release, although you can get, I believe the PAL version has some of these editions. I think it had manual control. I have to check. I'm not entirely sure. I will dig it up and actually have a go later. But thank you for watching, guys. Thank you for joining the stream. So as I said, this has been Armour Core Formula Front International. And if you are a big fan of sort of mech games, I do highly recommend it if you like arena combat one. So this has probably been a good introductory video. We've only really shown the start of a few fights. But yeah, now that we got to the main ranking tournament, you're clearly going to have to redesign your mech to get the best out of it, and that is part of Armour Core, much like FROMSOFTWARE. Your equipment, FROMSOFTWARE is their Dark Souls games and everything, and it's been the case with all the Armour Core games. Your equipment is key to winning a battle, and you will literally go from battle to completely strip and rebuild your machine every time, and that's really is a custom. So weapons, yeah, I mean his mech, although this one's got some good damage, it's just too slow, not manoeuvrable enough, and it overheats too quickly. But yes, thank you for watching. Night Nico, thanks for joining the stream, very much appreciated, and thanks to everyone who's been on the stream. Thanks to the likes, guys. I'm going to wrap it up here, so I'm going to wish you a good night, a good evening, good afternoon, or a good morning wherever you are in the world. I have been your host of this randomised gaming random gamer Ribbon, and this has been Armour Core Formula Front International. I should say it was released in 2005, this version, and it was developed by FROMSOFTWARE, and it was released by FROMSOFTWARE. And the international release is only in Japan, but you can get a Western release as well, though there are a few differences. I think, I'm going to check, I'm not sure, I think manual control is in the English one, but let me dig it out. Power one may not be, but I want to double check. It may be, because I think that's partly why it got this one got the international attack. Usually when Japanese titles get the international subtitle, it means they've got the Western changes in. But that's it from me. I will wish you a good night, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's stream that I think I might do on What Did I Do to Deserve This, My Lord, on the PSP. But thank you all for watching, everyone. Have a good night.